This $500 is supplementing your income that you get from your day job. Don't quit your day job just quite yet. Vigorous Steve here. So you want to become a bodybuilding coach. Let me tell you what it's going to take. I have 10 years worth of experience coaching various kinds of bodybuilders, ranging from anywhere from bikini competitors to top-level amateur bodybuilders that compete at the World Championships level. I've coached recreational bodybuilders, people who would like to take from bodybuilding but don't really consider themselves to be bodybuilders, general weight loss clients, for example. Right? Everything that falls into this category of improving your physical well-being, whether that's the reflection in the mirror or your mental performance. I've coached them all over the last 10 years, but I recently retired from coaching actively. I only have 5 clients left, and I'm not accepting any new applicants for the near foreseeable future. I mostly focus my time on this YouTube channel and doing consultations instead. So I figured now would be a good time to share what I've learned over the last 10 years of coaching and what it takes to be a phenomenally good coach. Before we get into all of that, please like the video, leave a comment through the algorithm, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Please hit the notification bell button so you can get notified whenever a new video drops. Forget about your free time. That's my first advice I want to give you guys. If you want to be a good coach, you're going to be working 24/7. All of your waking hours, you're going to be working, right? So a waking hour is a working hour when you wake up, because ideally you're going to be coaching clients in multiple different time zones. You might have to start out locally until you build up a good reputation, right, for an online coaching business. But once you have a good online business going and you're coaching people all over the world, due to all the different time zones, when you wake up, you have a ton of messages, emails, and things you need to manage to get your clients set up for the rest of their day or week going ahead. And then, right, the entire day is just going to be filled with answering questions. So keep that in mind. If you want to be a good coach and you want to respond to everybody within 24 hours, that means from Monday to Sunday, you're going to be replying to everybody's DMs. There's no holiday. There's no one day off. You'll be answering messages 24/7 during your waking hours. Now, what I always did when I wanted to take a full week off and not reply to anybody, I would schedule that usually during Christmas, because most people are not following their bodybuilding aspirations during Christmas either, right? You have this dead period leading into Christmas, and then after Christmas, everybody's kind of, doing whatever because it's going to be New Year soon. So might as well throw in the towel during this period. And this is when I would throw in the towel for coaching as well. I would roll up all of my clients with 1 week or maybe even 10 days. They would not have to pay for the coaching fee. So that means you're losing out on a significant portion of your income during this time. Again, this is maybe not something you would want to do, but I felt it was always fair to my clients because I would not be working. They would not be training or following their bodybuilding journey. So I would take a full week or maybe even longer break during this holiday period. Now, again, if you're missing a quarter or 1/3 of your monthly income during this period, make sure you manage your money correctly. Again, if you're living month to month because you don't have so many clients, you need to save up leading into Christmas, again, with all of the expenses that come along with Christmas and New Year. So you have to manage your money accordingly. In some times, this is the second part of money, in certain periods of the year, you'll have more clients than other periods. So from my experience, usually around December, it already starts to pick up. People want to get started with coaching as soon as the new year hits. So that means leading into the new year, you already get a ton of inquiries for coaching starting in January. The issue here is that you want to take a week off between Christmas and New Year where you don't want to do any new programs. So from January 1st, you're going to get a ton of new work, right? Building a lot of new programs for the clients that do want to start in January as fast as possible. Ideally, you collect the money somewhere early December, get those programs out the door so they can start in January so you don't have a fuckload of work as soon as the new year hits. So during the month of January, you'll be very, very busy with new coaching clients. Ideally, you only allow them to sign up for 3 months or 6 months so you can get all of these clients out of the door and set up for the next couple of months so you can focus on new clients that want to get lean for summer. Trust me, there's going to be many of them. some around April or May. So you already took care of the New Year's resolution clients in December and January, and then all of the clients who want to get lean for summer, or whatever reason they might have that they want to sign up around April or May. Those guys you'll sign up for 3 months or 6 months. And again, that's going to be a large portion of your income, a lot of programming that you need to do during these months. Again, you won't be able to go on a real holiday because you'll be handling all of their inquiries and their programming and all of that stuff, even while you're abroad fulfilling your own holiday. You might be able to compress all of your time into a couple hours during the day and then go chill on the beach, or maybe even handle most of your emails while you're on the beach. So make sure you have a laptop to get all of your work done while you're chilling at the pool. Those 2 months or those 2 time periods are, generally speaking, the most lucrative. I would always customize their programs to their needs. Right? So every client is going to be different. There's no cookie cutter way approach to make a program. Ideally, you have a very long questionnaire where you ask all of the relevant details from the client: when they work, what kind of job they do, how many steps they have, what their dietary restrictions are going to be, when they can eat meals, when they can't eat meals, if they need liquid meals, which days they can train, which hours they sleep, if they're sleeping enough, right? The questionnaire has to be so extensive, multiple pages long, that when you do take a couple days to write their program, that it's solid from the start. You don't write them a program or send them a cookie cutter program and then adjust along the way. You write them a program from the start that is almost perfect. It's not going to be 100% perfect, but it should be as perfect as you can make it. So at least the first month or the first couple of weeks, you don't have to adjust so much. Right? Plus, this way you impress the client that, wow, this training protocol is 100% for me. This diet protocol is 100% for me. This performance enhancing drug protocol is, of course, 100% for me. And the initial program might take a week to compose, but once it's out the door, there should be minimal adjustments for the first month or so. And if you need to go back and forth with the client just to make sure you have all the relevant data, because a lot of them overlook things that are very important for the questionnaire so you can get started on their program properly, go back and forth, get that email conversation going. Again, optimize that program and make it look phenomenal once it goes out the door. And this way you ensure that the client is going to stay. The first impression is going to matter. Now, of course, if you have a solid reputation, you have a little bit of a following, you have a YouTube channel where you can show your personality and your expertise, you have a physique to match, and you practice what you preach, this already goes a very long way. And of course, if you deliver the program on top of that, and it's exactly what the client expected it to be, now you've got a lifetime customer. Really, guys, take it from me. I've had clients that stayed with me for a decade. I've had 2 clients out of the 5 clients that I still have left that are almost with me for 10 years. One of them is being with me for 7 years. The other one has been with me for 9 years. A lot of clients, if you service them well, if you help them well, if you stick with them through all their trials and tribulations in their personal life or their financial strains, or whatever else, right? You have to be willing to sacrifice a little bit more on top for the clients that stick with you for a very long time, right? If they prove their worth and they're a reliable client, then you have to prove your worth as a reliable coach. So there's going to be ups and downs with particular clients, but if you can help them out through all of their situations and issues besides their bodybuilding aspirations, they will stick with you forever. So there's a little bit of self-sacrifice involved. I would almost compare bodybuilding coaching or fitness coaching to having a child. Again, you're actively trying to transfer your knowledge to this client so they can set up and make decisions for themselves whenever you're not around. I don't expect a good coach to say, this is the way it is. I'm an IFBB pro. I'm solidified in my reputation. Do it my way or the highway. That's the completely wrong approach. You need to transfer your knowledge to the client, right? You need to grow them and level them up regarding all of their bodybuilding aspirations, the nutrition, the supplementation, the performance enhancing drug information, everything that falls in between, right? The blood work, the health screening, etc. You need to transfer your knowledge to them. Now, that also means that once you've transferred all of your knowledge to them, they're going to leave. So that's part of the process. In the beginning of your coaching, you probably don't have so much experience yet. You have experience with your own body. You might have to coach a couple guys pro bono without getting paid for it, just to get the progress pictures, right? The before and after pictures. So you have a success story, which you can use on your Instagram page or your YouTube channel or whatever other social media that you're using. So you can incentivize other potential clients to sign up for your coaching services. In the beginning, your coaching services are not going to be so expensive because you don't have so much experience yet. But as you gain experience on the job, that's how we all learn coaching. At first, you learn on the job getting yourself in shape, developing your own physique, figuring out what nutrition works for you. And then once you've accomplished that, you can transfer that to somebody else. Now, particular situations and issues are going to arise while you're coaching somebody else. And that's how you learn on the job, because their body type, whatever they need to do to reach their goals, might not be something that you're experienced with. So as you're learning on the job, you might have to charge less than what other experienced coaches are charging because you lack the experience. Now, as your experience grows, your coaching rates are going to grow alongside of that. So let's say you have 5 paying clients in the beginning. Maybe you have 10 clients, but 5 of them you're coaching for free just to have a success story. You're getting paid for 5 clients. You're only charging them $100 a month for the full package. You're actively trying to share everything that you've learned so far, but you're only charging them $100 a month each because you don't have so much experience yet. This $500 is supplementing your income that you get from your day job. Don't quit your day job just quite yet because you have financial responsibilities. Once you have enough coaching clients that your coaching income matches your day job, you can quit your day job and do coaching full time. So in the beginning, you make maybe $500 or maybe even $100 even. Again, if you're making $100 coaching, you're already won. You're already supplementing your income with this coaching service that you offer. Now you just have to level up and expand to the point you can become a full-time bodybuilding coach. This might take a year or maybe even 2 years as you're working on your knowledge base and your reputation. You're actively trying to share with these clients. Particular issues will arise that you don't have experience with yet. And if you don't have experience with it, you do the research on the job. Again, they can't fault you for it because you're not charging so much. And this way, you're getting paid to learn. This is how I learned and got paid for coaching in the beginning. I wasn't a good coach. I wasn't a phenomenal coach. When I started coaching, people asked me to be coached by them when I was coaching my wife through all of these competitions. They saw the results that I had. I had a success story in the form of my wife winning all of her competitions. She ended up never placing out of the top 3, and out of all of her competitions, she won over half of them. Now, because of that success story, several other women here in Thailand asked me for help. I started coaching their boyfriends. I started offering consultations for the people I didn't really want to coach because I saw some red flags, right? That's something you also have to pay attention to, but we'll cover that a little bit later. If I saw some red flags, I would just do a 1-hour consultation with them. And as my experience grew, as particular issues arise that I didn't have experience with and then learned before I did the consultation or managed their particular issue through coaching, then my knowledge base grew and my rates went up slowly and steadily over the years. So whereas in the beginning I might charge $100 a month, later on I increased that to almost $500 per month, right? That takes years to develop. Same with the consultation rates. You might begin offering consultations for 1 hour for only $50. And as your knowledge expands, as your experience grows, you charge more, right? It's only natural. Plus, as your reputation grows and your presence on social media, which you should definitely work on, your audience grows, which ultimately your audience, your followers, your subscribers, they're all potential customers. Now, they might not all sign up for coaching. They might not all sign up for consultations or use your affiliate codes. But the more followers you have, the better your reputation is, the more information you provide, the more of a service you can provide to your clients, the more money you make. It's that simple, right? So that's something you actively have to develop. When you have your day job, don't quit your day job just quite yet because you have expenses. But as soon as you start to make money from coaching, quit your day job. Many other bodybuilder coaches have done this. They quit their day job and they go full-time into coaching. Once you have a decent amount of clients, I would limit it to 50 clients only. Don't say that you have 200 clients. For me, as a potential client, that's a huge red flag. How are you going to have enough time, attention, and memory to coach 200 people actively? Of course, nowadays we have WhatsApp or Signal or Telegram where you can keep track of all of your conversations and all the programs that you've shared through these messenger apps. So you can simply do a search on your client and see what adjustments you made previously if you find it hard to keep track of all of your clients by memory. I used to do that. I used to be very good at that when I was full-time coaching only. Nowadays, it's a little bit more difficult because I got so much things going on. But I would say that beyond 50 clients, it's almost impossible to manage. So even if you have more than 50 clients, I would not say that you have more than 50 clients. And again, you have to make sure that you reply within 24 hours, update programs within 24 hours, because that's part of the service. But if you're charging a premium, you better bet your left testicle that you reply within the same day during your working hours, because again, why are these people going to extend the service if you're not holding up your end of the bargain? So with messenger apps like WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram, it's a little bit easier to keep track. I used to do it all with email before these messenger apps became available over 10 years ago, right? When you just get started, you have to find out what the ideal working environment is for you to keep track of all of your clients. But ideally, you limit it to 35 to a maximum of 50 clients only. Beyond that, from my experience, it was very hard to track, especially if you have competitors during a world championship level event. So at some of the world championships, I would have 15 competitors competing, and that's an absolute nightmare. You don't sleep the last week of the competition, right? You're running through the hotel rooms if you're there physically. If you're an in-person coach, which always works better than an online coach, especially competition prep with posing practice and helping them the last week with color applications, right? Dream 10, Pro 10, that kind of stuff. Yeah, don't expect to sleep. So the last week of a contest prep is very, very tough. That's why all of the coaches kind of look messed up when they do their interviews post-contest, right? At the Olympia, you see Chad Nichols or Chris Aceto or Hani Rambot. They all look messed up at the last week because they've been taking care of their athletes pretty much the entire week leading into the competition. Again, a lot of self-sacrifice is involved. So make sure you schedule a little bit of a holiday or some time off, a deload, so to say, so you can take care of yourself and your significant other, because there's very little time for anything else. A couple ground rules you need to set for yourself, right? If you want to be a good coach, ask for blood work frequently, right? If you're coaching people who can only afford $100, my best advice to you would be to make sure that they do their blood work. Blood work should be a prerequisite before people sign up for coaching. This allows you to keep track of their health. Also make sure that the client is not a liability, because a lot of people are very abusive in this space. They come to you with all kinds of health conditions, which none of us are really qualified for. We can help people stay as healthy as possible, assuming that they do their blood work and their imaging and everything else that they need to do to stay healthy. So if they come to you in a good state of health, you can keep them healthy. If you're knowledgeable enough to give drug advice while keeping people healthy, again, that should be a prerequisite of a good coach. I would spend all of my waking hours researching as much as I could about blood work markers and health parameters and organ imaging, just to make sure that my clients were staying on top of their health while I was coaching them for competitions or during their off season, whatever other goals they might have. Right? This is something you really need to pride yourself on to keep your clients as healthy as possible. You need to charge a premium for that. And if you see a red flag in clients that don't want to do their blood work, or their blood work is already horrendous, well, they sign up or they want to get coached by you. But my advice to you would be to not accept any clients that are unhealthy. Send them to a doctor, give them some advice during a consultation, let them resolve their own health conditions. And when they prove to you that they are willing to get themselves healthy, and again, many of the guys that are very abusive are simply not going to give a shit and move over to a coach that doesn't give a shit either. Okay, let them take their money. It's out of your hands. You don't have to care. You have a set of guidelines that you need to follow as a good coach to make sure that the clients that want to sign up for your services are healthy and stay healthy. If clients are not potential clients are not healthy, you let themselves get healthy. And if they prove to you that they can get healthy by themselves, okay, then you can accept them as a client. Then you can take their money and guide them through their journey while keeping them as healthy as possible. A couple red flags that you need to pay attention to, right? You can work that into your questionnaire. Ask if they have any experience with recreational drugs or selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Usually, from my experience, the people who are prescribed SSRIs, they have an underlying mental condition, right? They don't take an SSRI for neurogenesis. And if they do take an SSRI, ask them if it's for a reason of neurogenesis, right? They want to maximize their brain capacity. They're not taking an SSRI because they are depressed. They take this for other reasons, right? You can ask during the questionnaire. If they take an SSRI for depression, personally, I would never accept them because I know from my experience that I had starting coaching that there's always some underlying transfer of misery, and I don't want to deal with that. As a coach, I was very good at helping people with their diet, their training, their supplementation, and perhaps the performance-enhancing drugs and keeping them healthy. But when it comes to emotional support or dealing with depression, I'm not that guy. We have psychiatrists for that. Or maybe that's a journey that they need to undergo by themselves to resolve their own depression. In many cases, medications don't really work. They just blunt the depression. So again, that's, for me, was a red flag, something I would always pay attention to. Another thing you can pay attention to is training intensity. That's a red flag you can mitigate over time. So if you ask them for a squat video or a deadlift video or another video where they're training, but they're not pushing anywhere close to failure, and they're asking for a 2 gram, 3 gram cycle, that's a red flag, right? If you see a cycle that they designed by themselves and it's completely wrong, that's another red flag. They have a particular preconception of what they want to do. They ask you for validation, even though you clearly know that this shit is not going to work and it's going to detract from their health. Don't take their money. And it might mean that 50% of the applicants you're not going to accept. Again, you have a reputation to keep. You have a particular guideline that you need to follow to be a good coach, to keep your reputation intact, because every client that you accept could be a potential liability. Again, if they don't have a good outcome, if they start spreading all kinds of misinformation about your coaching services, that will hurt your reputation. So make sure before you take anybody's money, they're already staying on top of their health to the extent that you want them to stay on top of their health, right? Everything is aligned for this relationship to work because, again, you're undergoing a relationship for 3 months, 6 months, or maybe even a decade when you accept their money and accept them as a client. So you better screen them accordingly. You only need a small amount of clients for your coaching to become successful. If you focus all of your attention on the clients that actually want your coaching, want your guidance, want to accept your knowledge transfer, you can be incredibly successful and level up your coaching business rather fast, right? But you have to be very, very selective on who you accept as a client. Don't just accept money from everybody. There will be a lot of rotten apples, red flags, people who are lazy, people who don't want to follow the program, people who are just going to waste your time on besides collecting their money. And again, if there's a couple of guys out there that get themselves sick because they don't follow your advice and double all of your dosages, or do particular practices in their free time with the recreational drugs, which certainly don't match with performance-enhancing drugs, right? You need to screen them accordingly so you can keep your reputation intact. It will take years or decades to build your reputation, and only one wrong move to ruin it. All right, I'll leave it at that. There's a lot that I can talk about this. Again, I have 10 years worth of experience with coaching. So if you guys would like to hear more about coaching, whether that's particularly about nutritional coaching or training coaching or, of course, performance-enhancing drug coaching, but that's mostly what this YouTube channel revolves around. What would you like to see me talk more about? Let me know down below in the comment section, and I'll see if I can make a follow-up video about that particular topic. For now, I'll leave it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find everything that I'm associated with down below in the YouTube description section. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at VigorSteve. Vigorous crew, you guys know what to do. A front double bicep for you guys. 23 years of bodybuilding experience and about 10 years of bodybuilding coaching in these canons. Much love, much appreciation, and I'll see you guys in the next video.